Hi. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about the topic that I'm going to speak on, which is the biggest advancements that you can make in your modeling career. And everyone knows them anyway. If I had to ask pretty much any modeler to list the top 3 advancements, they'd probably list the same things. But I'm going to do a bit of brief discussion on that. So the first biggest one in one's career, certainly from the point of view of a modeler who's come from being a kid and modeled all the way into adulthood and so on, is spraying. Now, I know a lot of modelers probably come into the hobby and spray from the beginning. So these statements are more for someone that's come in hand painting. And I've seen a lot of channels on YouTube where there's people hand painting, and really they should be starting to move to spraying. Now, it's a bit of a layout, compressor and so on. So when I started, obviously as a 6-year-old, I had a long stretch of hand painting, and I think that teaches you a whole lot. And then I can't remember how old I was exactly, but it was way past 18, made the first moves to spraying, and I still couldn't afford proper compressor or anything. And what I found was one of those little compressors that you plug into the lighter of your car back in the day to pump up a flat if you stopped by the roadside with a flat. So it was this small compressor, very cheap, made a very annoying noise, but could pump up a car tire. They were very cheap, so I bought it. And then, of course, you needed, I can't remember exactly how I did it right in the beginning, if I just used the compressor straight. So it gave this, this pulsating airflow, but it was good enough. I was able to spray first number of models with that. As far as the actual spray quality, not bad. So you actually make quite an advancement from hand painting to those first initial models where you're spraying. Even if you did it semi-badly, almost a mildly badly painted, spray painted model is better than many people's hand painted models. Now, of course, I'll get a lot of flack for that, because a lot of people will say, yeah, but they always hand paint and so on and so on. You can paint, you can hand paint, and I do occasionally sometimes do that still very well. But in any case, that's one of the big advancements in modeling. The second one is to no longer get any problems with decals. No silvering, not trying to put on decals onto a matte surface, even sometimes onto a satin surface. Now, there are times when you can get away with it using certain techniques. So I'm not going to say you have to have a gloss model. All I'm saying is whatever method you choose to use, but move to the point where you're no longer failing with silvering or lifting decals. That's the second major step, I think. And third would be weathering. So once you've got your decals on and they're absolutely secure, and you've put a sealing layer on, whether it be the floor acrylic coatings or gloss enamel varnish or whatever the case it is, and whatever styles of weathering you use, weathering to a lesser or greater degree really benefits a model. Now, that doesn't mean that all models need weathering. Of course, if I'm doing my Reno races, they are all absolutely pristine condition, highly polished, beautifully clean. But in general, and certainly, you know, from the modeling mags and online, whenever you see presented models, they've got this sort of classic black line shadow effect weathering, and of course there's tons of argument as to how realistic that is. And you know, don't be so heavy-handed or pre-shading your panel lines with black all over your model. Whatever floats your boat, you know, that's the next level in weathering. The nicest effects are probably if you approach a armored vehicle, a tank or something. That offers so much scope for really just going to town. But if you're moving to that next phase of weathering models, on select of your models, use some models as trials where you don't mind too much if you over weather, under weather, or not quite get the effect that you're looking for. Mess around with water paints, acrylics, oils if you felt like it, whatever you felt like trying for your I sometimes do even sanding, very light sanding, as I'm sure many modelers do, to scuff through a layer. There's the hairspray technique for chipping, various chipping methods, and so on and so on. So those three methods, those three advancements in your modeling career, I think, are the noteworthy ones. And once you've sort of gone past them, that's it. You know, those are milestones which you don't really go back on. Even if you choose later to not weather so heavily, it doesn't really matter. You've got those skills, you've moved on. Okay, I hope that was mildly interesting. Add your comments. Cheers.